Hey, Coach, so glad you found us. Couple things. First of all, subscribe. Please go over and do that. That will keep you updated with everything that we're doing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to put hardware in your basement, if you want to win more games, let me help you do that. I will give you my personal email address. We'll do one-on-one calls. We'll do office hours, less than $1 a day, 14-day free trial. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
How you doing, Coach?
It's September, Coach.
Where'd the year go?
The best time in Wisconsin.
I know, fall season. We're knocking on the
Ooh, apple
doors.
cider,
Football's back.
cinnamon donuts, pumpkin donuts,
Mm-hmm.
pumpkin patches, fall. Oh, I love fall.
I love fall. Fall's my favorite season.
Fall's really good. Spring's good
Yeah.
because it's like brutal in Wisconsin, but
Yeah.
fall might be the best. It really might be. And next year, it's going to be really good for me, isn't it?
Ah! That is right. We're gonna have to do something on the podcast to mark your retirement.
I don't know.
Retirement from
Teaching.
teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. I was trying to do the math on it. I think it's year 37 teaching. This is year 37. It's a lot of tests, coach. A lot
A
of
lot of
quizzes graded,
tests, a
a
lot of
lot of tests,
papers,
a lot of upset
grading
parents emailing
afterwards.
you, a lot of yes. Anyway, great profession. I would highly recommend it. Underutilized, underpaid, underappreciated unless COVID hits, and then they appreciate you for like 6 months, and then they don't appreciate you anymore again.
I'm not going to argue on underpaid during your tenure, but I will argue overpaid when it equals out because you get paid. You got a nice pension. Teachers have nice pensions.
Oh, we do. Our state does.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But math degree, I could have probably made a lot more being an
True.
actuary
Yeah.
or comp
Well,
sci major. I could have moved to Palo Alto and worked,
just think
but
how your life would have been different. Not necessarily any better, just different.
this is different. No,
Yeah.
no. I think yeah, I don't regret it at all. All right. So sponsors, coach, coaching youth hoops. Let's give a big
Yeah,
shout out.
coaches.
Yes.
Yeah, go take drive over to coachingyouthhoops.com for all of your practice and playing needs. Coachingyouthhoops.com. We have everything print and go. Show up to practice. You'll have everything spelled out, detailed, diagrams, videos, anything you need to run an effective practice and teach the game of basketball for kids K through 8. Check it out, coachingyouthhoops.com. And the launch of our big surprise for the fall. So we're looking at about, this is early September. Yeah, we should be on the radar pretty soon. If it's not live right now, go check it out at coachingyouthhoops.com/AI. Big surprise there. You will be able to effectively communicate, manage, run your team, break your games down a little bit, give you
There's
some
gonna be a lot of
insights.
surprises with it.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited about that. It's one of our first real true tech products. When we're ready to go, we'll introduce you to the brains behind the operation as well. But go check it out, coachingyouthhoops.com/AI. Get on the list. We'll make it worth your while. You're going to want to
You're gonna be
check this
wanting to be
one
on the
out for
waiting
sure.
list. Yes, for sure. All right. So today we're gonna talk about navigating substitutions.
Yeah, substitutions. How do you do it? When do you do it? What are you looking for? Who do you sub with? What if you don't have any subs? What if you have one
Well, being
sub?
a youth coach
Right?
is different too. I think
Yeah,
it's hard.
it
I
is.
think it's like, and I think how you sub
Hmm.
with a 10U or an 8U is different than how you sub maybe with a 16U.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and again, I don't know. It depends. And again, I think it matters in the grade level. And I also think it matters on the competitive level. If you're playing like a rec league or a competitive travel AAU team,
Yeah.
substitutions are going to be different. But I think it's I don't want to say it's full of landmines, but
It can be,
it
yeah.
kind of,
Well, start at a higher level, how you think about, in general, how you think about substitutions. Let's say you have 8 players showing up, okay?
right.
You know you need 5 on the court, you got 3 on the bench. How how do you think about substitutions?
So at
Like,
the
what's the
higher level,
strategy?
I'm thinking, I'm watching the five on the court. I'll just tell you from my perspective at a high school level, there's my five.
Well, don't even think about this though, because you kind of it's not necessarily a substitution, but you're already planning your head, your substitution. So you have
Yes.
your 5 that are starting, your 3 on the bench,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
What's your strategy even? Because these 3 are going to be the 3 on the
Well,
bench are going to be
it's a
substitutions,
moving
right?
target.
So,
It's a moving
okay.
target because all of a sudden, I won't rank them, but let's say of my starting five, one is my best player, five is my worst that I'm starting.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, three, four, five. So five being not necessarily the one point guard, but the best player to the worst player. Again, they're starting, so they're not that. But anyway,
Yeah.
so all of a sudden, player number two gets in foul trouble. I got to pull them, or number four gets in foul trouble. I got to pull them. So it is a bit of you can have things set in your head, but all of a sudden there's thing or the third best player gets hurt and twists his ankle and has to come out. Then I just got to grab one from the bench, and maybe it's not number 6, maybe it's number 7 because sevens plays that position better than 6. So there isn't a matrix that works for it unless you're going to do equal playing time for every kid. That's the only way it's going to be. Um,
And at the younger levels, obviously, that's a thing.
yeah, then
And
you can
at
just
some
substitute all three of them
leagues,
in,
you
leave
have to,
blah
yeah.
blah blah. But I think there is I mean, like we were talking about before, I've probably coached 800 basketball games, and it's like there is a nuance and a rhythm to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Depending, maybe it's the third game of the day and your second best player is tired and they're gonna rather than pulling them out once a half, you're gonna have to pull them out 3 times a half because they're tired or they're coming off a cold, or there's so many variables that I think substitution, you got to think about what your objective is.
Mm-hmm.
Some tournaments the objective might be to win, so kids might have to play more, some kids might have to play less. Your objective might be development, well then we're going to try to play kids. I think there's so many moving, and then all of a sudden Johnny's got to leave because he's got a soccer tournament, so he can only play one game that day, so he's got to leave. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so I wish there was an easy plug and chug science to it. But I think it's a nuance of why good coaches are good coaches,
Yeah.
in some respects,
Yeah.
because they understand substitution patterns. They understand that Johnny just missed 4 straight shots. Now he's in his head and he's talking to him. So he's got to come out, not because he's not a good player, but because he just needs a break. There's all these variables that are moving that you have to be aware of, and having assistant coaches can help with that, I think, a little bit too. They can
Yeah,
watch.
it's a different set of eyes, and they're looking at it from a different perspective, and it definitely helps to have the assistant sitting with you. Okay, a couple scenarios. Scenario number one, you have a player, he's doing really well. Again, put your youth hat on. He's doing really well in a game. Uh, he's been in a while, and you're like, "Ugh, I don't want to stop his momentum, but I know he's going to need a break soon. What's your Do you break him? It's about his break time, that you're seeing him. But yet he just, every time he gets the ball, he's scoring.
Well, I let him ride it. I ride that as much as I can ride it.
Hmm.
Um,
Or the philosophy might be pull him now because then towards the
as a
end,
former
I'm just
player, I don't
asking, yeah.
like that. I don't like that
Uh-huh.
because if you have, there's no such thing as a hot hand. But if I'm feeling it, don't pull me, coach. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's bit me in the butt too. I mean, a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, I rode one of my better players, and he missed some free throws on the stretch, probably because I didn't do what you said. I didn't give him that little blow where he, even if it would have been a minute to give him a little bit of blow,
Mm-hmm.
he was just gassing. I think he probably missed the free throws. Um,
Would you substitute, because I've heard two different things about this too. it's time for substitution, and your one of the players is shooting a foul shot.
Okay.
So, some players might get nervous thinking, "Oh, I'm coming out right after I shoot these, and that's all I'm thinking about versus the
Hmm.
shot." Or I don't know. Do you have a thought on that substitutions that way?
On free
Like,
throws?
on free throws, yeah, specifically in that scenario.
That's a good one. I've always done it.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
I think it's a good I think it's a good mental I think it's a good thing for them to come out. What it allows me to do is it allows me to set up I mean, part of the rationale too is why I pull them out sometimes is it allows me to set my defenses, it allows me to set my presses.
Mm-hmm.
So the boys already know that I'm not pulling you out because you did anything wrong. I'm pulling you out because I want to set up, our 1-2-2, press, or I want to get back into our zone. And then that way we can make sure everyone's in the right, even older kids, you make
Yeah.
sure they're in the right spots. Um, so that's part of it for me. It's part of the chess match a little bit.
And speaking of chess match, okay, now the opponent is shooting, right? First shot goes in, then the subs come in after that. Do you think there's an advantage of substituting when the opponent is shooting? Part of the chess match. Does
It
that
is. Well, if there's a running
affect?
clock and it's youth level for
Well,
sure,
yeah, yeah,
especially
for
if I'm
sure. Yeah.
winning, and especially if I'm
Yeah.
winning and I can, I'll, if I'm
Go
winning
go listen
and
to
it's,
our
and there's
clock
subs,
management
yeah, don't even get me started on the
podcast.
substitution running clock thing. I'll sub
Yeah.
everyone every 3 seconds on a running clock up six.
Yeah.
And then we have the talk about don't rush out there, walk real slow because there's only 37 seconds left in this running clock, and it just pisses everybody off. So the dog talk about navigating subs. That's running clock
Yeah,
is
that's a scenario, right? That you
it,
need. Yeah. So running clock, you're subbing more often.
right.
Yeah.
Often,
Often.
often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I mean I wish there was a plug and chug for substitutions. Um, but I don't know if there is. I don't
well,
know.
is there, so we identified though, there's a strategic advantage to subbing, not necessarily the individual, but just in general, when the opposing team is shooting free throws, when there's a running clock, you're, up 6 points, and you want to slow some time down or want to speed some time up. Are there other situations, general situations in the game where you're making substitutions as part of this chess match? Everybody's fine, they're not tired, but are there other situations that might play in? Maybe do you put five in if the other team is,
I
pressing, and
don't
then you
love
want
doing
to,
five. I don't love doing five. I
okay.
did more at the youth level than I do at my level probably.
Hmm.
I also yeah, I like pulling people to set things up. That's a big thing. I like riding people out with foul trouble sometimes if I'm feeling like they can handle
That's
it
another one,
too.
right? Yeah.
Maybe
Hmm.
they pick up their second or third foul in the first half. Sometimes I'll ride them if I think they can handle that. Um, it will just kind of depend on, where they are mental up here, as far
Yeah.
as being able to handle the fouls and stuff like that. So that's another thing I think as far as navigating subs. Um, you don't know necessarily want your best player to have 4 fouls in the first half, but sometimes you can
Right.
navigate that by changing up your defenses and doing some of those things. Um, and I'll use it to kind of talk to players sometimes too. I'll sub them out to
Right.
actually have a conversation with them.
Yeah. I do that a
It's
lot.
30 seconds and you're right back in. But I got to
Right.
tell you something
That's
that I
right.
can't tell you in the heat of the battle because you're just not going to hear me.
Hmm. Yeah, I do that a lot. I have those quick conversations, especially if I know they're a solid player and they're making the same mistake over and over again. I'll just quickly pull them, have a conversation, kind of does a reset, and then throw them back out in the game. Because I don't want to punish them for making mistakes, but I want to help them overcome that mistake and give them something, give them a nugget. Uh, yeah. Okay, so this goes back to I have 8 players. Okay, I have 8 players. I know this is gonna be a long game. I'm a youth. Do I start my top 4 and put one that's not so good in just early? Okay, so I do that early at the start of the game. Do I put or do I put my best in right away and then do the substitutions from there?
I tend to you're saying you put one, two, three, four, and then pick like
Yeah.
8 best. Yeah, I tend to look at the top 3 and maybe go 1 and 3 and put 2 with the second group sometimes.
Say that one
Um,
more time.
I'll
You
put
tend
the
to do what?
first and third best player together with, maybe 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 6, and then I'll put 2. I'll balance it out a little bit. I just think
Yeah.
there's too big a gap or too big a standard deviation when you do that a little bit sometimes with that second group. I don't try to make the 2 groups exactly balanced, but
Okay.
sometimes it's especially at the younger ages.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I'll
That
go,
makes sense.
if I have to get a piece of paper out here so I can look at it, but I'll do like 1, 3, uh 5 and 6, and then that means that I have 2, 4, 7, 8, 9 can compete at least. They're not quite as good.
Hmm.
Um, you know, um, so I just kind of balance it out a little bit. Anyway, something like that. I think that's a good
Yeah.
way to kind of do it. Or 1, 3, 1, 3,
Yeah,
five,
okay.
six,
That's what
seven.
I
Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
that's what I do as well. I try to think of those scenarios up front, who
And
I want
sometimes
coming
it
off
can
the
be
bench.
1, and then I can put 2 and 3 on the other team because one's that
Right.
good, and then
Yeah.
one can play with 4, 5, 6. I mean, and there's not that big a drop. I don't know. That's one thing. Navigation is navigating the substitution can work a little bit, I think.
And I think at the end of the day, what we're saying is how you substitute is one of the chess pieces that you have in when you're playing the game of basketball. How and when you sub players. Would you agree with that?
Say that again.
So one of the chess pieces we have in the game of basketball is our substitutions. How and when
Yes.
we
Well, there's
substitute.
several things we have, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, one of them
one of
is
them is timeouts. But I think
correct.
substitutions
Yeah.
can sometimes be a more effective use of manipulation than timeouts.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
timeout is actually the third. I think changing things up. I would say substitution is 1 or 2, and it's either
Mm.
substitutions or changing things, going from like a zone to a man,
Uh,
changing your
uh, uh,
offense
yeah.
would be the first 2, and then I think third is timeouts because it's almost like
Interesting.
sometimes timeouts are there's not enough time, quote unquote.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you
Good
can't do
point.
that, and they don't remember that many things. So I think
Right.
substitutions is an underutilized. Again, in a youth game, it's like just getting them out for 15 seconds, say, hey, da, 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 or you got
Right.
to go in and you're going to go in and guard so and so
Yes.
because they just scored the last 3 points, and I don't want to take a timeout because I only get 2 timeouts for the entire game. So blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you matching up when you do a substitute? Are you also thinking, okay, I don't know, the ability wise, but obviously it's a
Right.
substitute, so it's like, okay, they're almost there, not quite, and then it's a match that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching how they yeah, that comes back to the chess match a little bit. It's kind
Right.
of like what are they playing their best? But it's kind of like in tennis sometimes, if you know anything about like high school tennis, it's like um maybe your number 1 plays their number 2, and it's like there is some movement with that.
Yeah.
um I just think the spread can be pretty pretty big at the 10
Right.
or
Of course,
9
especially
level,
at the youth level, it certainly is.
unless things have changed a lot since I did it.
No.
That's like I don't think it
Well, it depends if
has.
you have a super team. So, all
Right.
right.
All right, anything else,
All right.
coach?
No, that's it. Coaches, go check out coachingyouthhoops.com for all your practice needs. Again, coachingyouthhoops.com. print and go practice plans, and everything you will need to have success on the court. We'll see you next time right here.
All right. Next week.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.